Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I am your host, Marissa, and I'm here with my co host, Dystro. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everybody is having a decent week so far. The week has been going pretty okay so far, I'm not gonna lie. Besides the windstorm we had, I think it was Tuesday night, which I will talk more about in the next episode we do. But how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Uh, just had to, uh, you know, weather out the storm or wait out the storm that we had the other day. It
Yeah,
was,
you guys, we literally all got hit with the same system.
yeah, it was like lots of wind and rain and all that stuff. It was a lot.
Yeah. And I think we're getting another one tomorrow. Actually, well, technically tomorrow night and a Saturday, but um, nonetheless, I hope everybody out there has been staying safe. I know this freaking crazy January weather. I don't know what the hell January is doing, but yeah, stay safe out there, everybody. I know the weather can be crazy sometimes. Anyways, thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoy. So, the time has come to do our album ranking for our Fall Out Boy albums. We wrapped up our Fall Out Boy pilgrimage at the end of December, literally during the last week of December to be exact. Um, there were 8 albums in total, and as always, we take the time to do this individually. We rank the albums from worst to best. That's why I usually take a 2 week break off from pilgrimages completely, so we can have time to figure that out. And we also do our top 10 songs lists as well for that artist or band. Speaking of the top 10 list for Fall Out Boy, we actually did one almost 2 years ago. So Dicer's gonna have to go back and listen to that episode so we can compare notes for next week because we're doing our top 10 songs next week.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is like before you and I did the pilgrimage. And remember, I was a big Fall Out Boy fan in middle school. So this is gonna be kind of interesting to see how much has evolved since then. Um, anyways, so let's get this started. As I mentioned, there are 8 albums to talk about. Starting at number 8 being our least favorite album, which, I mean, I can kind of guess, but I don't want to. What did you put for your number 8?
I put, uh, I put, I put "Take This to Your Grave" for number 8.
Oh, wow. I was wrong. I was
So,
way wrong. Okay.
I'll explain my number 7 though when we get to it, but.
My number 8, I did, of course, Mania.
Oh,
Yeah. I'll let you
that's your
explain
cup of
yours.
tea.
Actually, let me explain mine first, real quick. Plain and simple, Mania, the 2018 album. Yes, this was my first Fall Out Boy shirt I bought, and yes, this was my first Fall Out Boy album I bought. To be honest, here I liked every single album that we have on this list, but there were two that were kind of weaker than the rest. And this is one of them.
Hmm.
This was a bit of a change for Fall Out Boy. They did more of a poppy kind of take on their music for this album, which it didn't necessarily work in my personal opinion. Like the album's not bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's not bad. It's not perfect. It's not over the top good. There are some good tracks on here, like Expensive Mistakes Wilson, um, Young and Menace, Bishop's Knife Trick. Like those are like my top three right off the bat. It's just for me personally, this is not an album I go back to often. Um, but man, I don't know. I'm not the one to go for the poppy side of stuff necessarily when it comes to these pop punk groups or rock groups for that matter.
Hmm.
That's why Mania's taken the bottom of the list. But what do you have to say about Take This to Your Grave?
For me, I could say I think like this album as a whole, yes, it's their debut album, and I think it's like they've come a long way since their debut album. Uh, and there was some songs like I was kind of like grooving to, but not a lot of them were hitting for me a little bit. Uh, but I think that's just because it's like it's debut album. Not a lot of people are gonna buy it or get into it and stuff. I mean, there are some good hits on that album though.
Oh, excuse me.
So, I mean, maybe if I listen to it more, maybe I'll give it a better ranking.
This might be an album that we may have to revisit in the near future.
Yeah, but for now, it's like bottom of my list for now.
And that's fine. I have mine that ranked a little higher, which I will get to it, of course. Moving on to number 7, I put Folie à Deux.
I did as well.
Okay, good. We kind of agreed on that. That album was okay. This was the final album they did pre-hiatus. When I mean pre-hiatus, I mean before they took their 4-year hiatus. This album came out in '08. This one was a little different as well from what we were used to with Fall Out Boy. A little bit of a different kind of sound, in my personal opinion. A lot of Fall Out Boy fans praise this album, and that's perfectly fine. Um, for me personally, I wasn't too crazy about it. There are a few good tracks though. Like right off the top of my head, I think America's Sweethearts because like that's literally one of the best Fall Out Boy songs of all time.
And I think of I Don't Care right off
I
the
don't
top of my head.
care. Oh, I
I
love that
don't
song.
care.
Mark Hoppus in the music video.
It's like I think that's like some of the only saving graces for it at that point. Because I was
Yeah.
gonna put it at the bottom, but then I was like, well, I can't really put it at the bottom because it's like there's some few saving graces on that album,
Yeah.
but that's like mostly it. But that's all I
Anyway.
gotta say about that.
Yeah, pretty much self-explanatory there. Number 6. What did you put?
I put Mania at number 6.
So we pretty much flip-flop. I put Take This to Your Grave here.
Okay, huh? That's funny.
So I'm gonna go ahead and explain mine real quick. So with Take This to Your Grave, I really liked this album. I really thought we started off hot when we did the Pilgrims because we did this in order. This album was, I think it came out in '03, right? Or '02?
I would
No,
say
'03. It
three.
was same year as Billy Talent 1. I should have known.
Yeah,
Um, for me, I really liked a lot of these because I didn't know many songs from this album, and usually when that's the case, I tend to like the album a lot more.
mm,
My personal favorite from that one was The Pros and Cons of Breathing. Like that one is like my go-to song from that album, but I also like Dead on Arrival. I also like Grand Theft Autumn, Where's Your Boy? And of course Saturday. I mean, Saturday is like old school Fall Out Boy right there.
yeah,
Overall, I had to put this at number 6 because it deserves that spot.
right. Whereas for me, it's like Mania. It's like it's not bad, but it's not good, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like in the middle.
Yeah, it's not even in the middle. It's like it's almost. It's
Meh.
like it's meh. Let's say it. It'd be mania, mania,
Meh. Yeah.
mania, mania,
Meningitis.
meningitis.
I don't know.
Oh my god. All right, number 5.
Top 5. What did you put?
I put American View, American Psycho here.
That hurt my soul just a little bit.
That hurt my soul.
Just a little bit. Um, crap. I put Save Rock and Roll, but I have a reason for this one. Um, for me, I love for starters, Save Rock and Roll was my first Fall Out Boy album I actually listened to in full. I found Fall Out Boy a year after this album came out. Um, so this album was super, super overplayed for me when I was younger because this was the only album I listened to constantly in middle school when I was going through the phase. Um, it's like I said, that's kind of like the only reason why it's number 5 and not higher because it's so overplayed for me. I've played this album so many times. I've heard these songs so many times. But if I had to pick a favorite track, I'm probably gonna go with "Where Did the Party Go." I've always liked that track from that album. And the funny thing is, my first Fall Out Boy song ever is on here as well, titled "The Mighty Fall," because that was used for a WWE pay-per-view theme in 2013.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was the Battleground pay-per-view.
Freaking battle,
Ryback was on the cover.
freaking battleground.
So why? Why did you put American Beauty, American Psycho at number 5?
I'm not gonna lie. I actually I actually enjoyed that album, but there was a few tracks that I didn't really get into that much.
Damn. This is probably the most surprised I've been doing an album ranking thing in a long time
Usually,
because
it's
it's
like you.
like,
It's like it's usually it's like for example, when we did the AC/DC album ranking, you were so dead set on like you thought that oh, what was it, Stiff Upper Lip was gonna be my number one, and it didn't
yeah,
turn out to be. It was like
I ranked it
uh,
super low because I
I was
didn't really care for it. But I'm really surprised about this one. I'll explain why when we get to it on my list.
sure.
But
I mean, it's not a bad album.
no,
It's just like
there's a couple sleepers for you.
I think it's like if I listen to it on my own time, maybe I enjoy it more.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's in the middle of the road.
Okay. I understand.
So stopping in the background, like, just give me a second.
Oh boy.
Final four.
Moving on to number 4. I put From Under the Cork Tree here.
I did too.
Yay, finally. That album was really good. I'm not gonna lie, that album was really good. And again, this is another album a lot of Fall Out Boy fans really obsess over.
Hmm.
My first song that comes to mind is the closing track titled XO. I love that track so much. That and Sophomore Slump or Comeback of the Year. I love that track too.
Yeah. I think when I was doing this list, like did not have any expectations for this album because I was just like going with an empty mind, sort of thing. I did that for all of this. uh,
Whereas me, like I kind of knew what to expect with each album because I was a part of the Fall Out Boy Instagram fandom for 2 years.
mm, I bet. Um, but I think what this came out in like what, 05?
Yeah, oh 05.
Wow, that was really good guess there. Um,
Yeah,
uh, but it's like it fits like 05 because
it
it's
does.
very kind of like not Midwest emo, but it's kind of emo punk-ish in a
Yeah,
way.
it's kind of like a mix of like punk and like kind of emo, like a Panic at the Disco kind of thing, Paramore, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Song that comes to mind is Sugar Going Down. That's like,
That's like number one of all
yeah,
time for like any Fall Out Boy fan, really.
and plus it's like this was their best selling album to date, I think, almost.
I believe it was actually, yeah. This is their best-selling album to date.
And it was just like that was like such a game changer for them too.
It really helped them shoot to the moon, so to speak,
Yeah, for real.
and then some.
Yeah, and then some. Yes,
Moving on to our top 3. At number 3, what did you put?
I put Affinity on high at number
Wow, okay. Man, our
three.
lists are
Wow.
our lists are kind of different. This is a surprise. I'm actually really surprised.
You're like,
Man,
wow.
cuz like usually with album rankings like we're so like kind of
Kind of almost
close.
polar, like
Yeah.
almost equal.
For me, I put So Much for Stardust at number 3. Here's the thing. Yes, I've played this album 3 times. I own this album, and
Uh
I
huh.
love this album to death. This is one of my favorite albums from 2023. Definitely a step up from Mania. However, the 2 albums in my top 2 have more replay value on them than So Much for Stardust does, and they mean a little bit more to me than So Much for Stardust. One of them I listened to when I was a big Fall Out Boy fan in middle school. It was like it was my favorite album at the time. And then the other one I listened to with you and I really fell in love with it. Like hardcore, head over heels for it. So that's my reason there. So much for Stardust. Like literally my 1, 2, and 3. Like it was hard. This is what I mean. This album ranking was really hard for me because I was stuck with my 1, 2, and 3 where to put them. I love so much for Stardust. I love Fake Out. I love the title track. I love Hold Me Like a Grudge. Love from the Other Side. Like I love the whole album. And it was really hard to put at number 3. I'm going to be honest. I had to kind of swallow my pride there, but I told myself the other two have a little more significancy to me.
Mm. See, like, whereas my top three, like, it was kind of like no brainer in a way, but that was just based on of my my personal preference and my enjoyment for each one.
Right.
And Affinity on High, it was like, oh, what was it? It was like Thanks for the Memories was on there. Oh, what was it?
Is it the one with all the letters?
That one. Yeah,
GINASFS.
that one. Um, oh, the Takeover, the Breaks Over.
Oh, yes. I like that one too.
So like those were like good solid hits too, and that's like what? That's after Under the Cork Tree too.
Yeah, this is '07. This was their third album they did together.
So it's like when Under the Cork Tree came out in '05, it's like yeah, like they had like a 2 year kind of like period
Break.
there. But on Infinity on High, it's like I don't know if this is true or not, but don't quote me on this. But it's like that's like almost like the second best selling album to date, I think, almost for them. Maybe
I would think
behind.
so. I would honestly I would think so. I really would. It's like between that and American Beauty, American Psycho. And in my opinion, I might be wrong. I want to do research after this video. Um I'm actually really curious now.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
want to see if my guess is right. But yeah, I'll get to Infinity on High in a little bit.
Sounds so sinister. Like I'll get to Infinity on High in a little bit.
Moving on to number 2, I put American Beauty, American Psycho.
I put Save Rock and Roll here.
Oh wow. Okay, that's actually kind of a shocker too. Okay, so here we go with American Beauty, American Psycho. This album, my god. This was my first Fall Out Boy album I actually got to experience release. I got to be all hyped for it. All the singles when they came out, freaking Centuries when that came out. Like they were
Definitely.
teasing this like crazy. And I freaking 12, 13, 14-year-old me was so excited. And when this album came out, you bet your ass I listened to it. And since that day, I've been hooked on this album for it's like one of my four lifer albums. It's definitely in one of my top 10 albums of all time. Um, I love Jetpack Blues. I love 4th of July. I love Kids Aren't All Right. Even Immortals. I did not like Immortals at first when I heard it for the first time when I was younger. It took me a couple tries to get into it, and I really like it now. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Um, See, that's kind of why I put it really high because it's an album that has a lot of an impact on me and it's shaped my music taste a little bit. And for the longest time, that was my favorite album for Fall Out Boy until we did my number 1. So, yeah.
I think for mine, I remember when it first came out, I I listened to it one time and I hadn't seen like any of the music videos or anything like that either. But I remember like when um song like Songs in the Dark came out, like the video for it came
Oh,
out.
my songs Know What You Did in the Dark, Light 'em Up.
Yeah,
Okay.
Light 'em Up. I remember when the video for that came out, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know who it was at first, but then like when they pulled off the hood or you know, the bags, whatever, um, I was like, oh, like that's Fall Out Boy. I was like,
It's the Fallout
huh,
Boys.
it's the Fall Out, it's Cluck Cluck Boy. No,
The Cluck Cluck
Cluck.
Boys.
um, but I didn't like. I was like, oh, like, okay, so they changed up their sound, and I was like, I wasn't, hesitant or anything. I was like, okay, well, bands now, like, they have to change up their sound every once in a while just to
Yeah.
be relevant and keep it fresh and all that stuff. And I remember when the album came out, I listened to the whole thing, And from start to finish, I was like, wow, like it was a game changer for me as well because I was like more into like hard rock and pop punk and all that stuff. But then I was a huge kind of Fall Out Boy fan too, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna give it a shot. Like, just give it a try, just give it a chance, see what I think. And I actually kind of enjoyed it. And
I'm glad you
then
did.
and it lay dormant for like several years after that. And
Until we revived it.
yeah, until we revived it. Yeah. And I was like, man, I was like, it just like the nostalgia hit me when I first heard the first, lyric of the first track. I was like,
That's
man,
kinda how I felt too, like, when we started getting into the post-hiatus stuff, because that was, like, what I remembered when I was a big
mhm,
fan. That's kinda how I felt, so in a way, I'm like right now, I'm just sitting here like, "Oh my god, I'm kinda glad he got to experience what I felt in some sort of way." You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's a good feeling
And
when you go visit this music that you were really, really into when you were younger, and, like,
yeah,
you go revisit it, like, 10 odd years later or something, for example. It's like a
yeah,
time capsule. It's like it's so cool.
yeah. And I was like, I was in middle school when it came out, I think.
Mhm.
So, and then it was like that, and then it was like maybe like a few years later, like before I even graduated high school, I revisited it again. So this is my
Wow.
third time ever listening to that album from start to finish.
It's probably my 5th or 6th time listening to Safe Rock and Roll, to be honest with you.
Jesus.
Whereas, like, with American Beauty, American Psycho, it's probably my 13th, 14th time. Alright, moving on to number 1. What did you put?
I put so much for Stardust, but I will get into that in a bit.
So, my number 1 is Infinity on High from '07, which is a shocker because I really never would have thought I would have gotten into the pre-hiatus stuff for Fall Out Boy. I was so stubborn for the longest time. I loved the post-hiatus stuff more than the pre-hiatus. Now, tables have kind of turned. I really love the pre-hiatus stuff, and Infinity on High definitely encapsulates everything from the pre-hiatus stuff. I just love the whole vibe of that album. It has one of my favorite songs of all time on there. It's a long one, so be prepared. It's titled "I'm Like a Lawyer with the Way I'm Always Trying to Get You
Oh
Off," and
God.
then in parentheses, "Me and You." That's one of my favorite songs of all time. But it also has, like I mentioned earlier, GINASFS, also has the Carpal Tunnel of Love, and it has Hum Hallelujah, which is kind of a fan favorite for a lot of diehard Fall Out Boy fans. And of course, opening track Solar was really good too. Like I'd never heard that track in my life, and it's
Mhm.
really, really good. So I had to put this at my number 1. It was probably my most enjoyable album we did on the pilgrimage, to be honest. Like when it comes to fresh stuff, this
Mhm.
was my favorite. This was my most enjoyable one.
I'd say for me, um, I would say Infinity on High was mine. I think
From the pre-hiatus.
from the pre-hiatus. Yeah,
I'm glad we agree on that because that album definitely took the cake for that time for Fall Out Boy.
yeah. Because it's like like when the first like debut came out, like yeah, like people were starting to get on board, but then Under the Cork Tree and then Affinity on High came out. It's like those two albums alone like skyrocket them to superstardom, I think.
Absolutely.
And then it's like like almost to hiatus time. It's like yeah, it's like starting to take a little dip then, but then when they came back, it's like they've been riding high ever since. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So much for Stardust. I'm really surprised that was your number 1. I'm not gonna lie about that. I honestly was thinking you were gonna pick Infinity on High. I'm very surprised you didn't. Um, so what do you have to say about So Much for Stardust?
I mean, what's not to say about that?
That whole album is spectacular from top to bottom.
Like when we first listened to it last year, so weird to say, last year. When we listened to it last year, it was a crazy coincidence that it was like, Fall Out Boy's coming out with a new album. We were like, we've got to listen to it. We've got to listen to it now, sort of thing.
And we literally did it the same night we listened to it, and I remember like the surprise like looks kind of like on our faces when we listened to it. We're like, oh, wow, wow, ooh, ah, like we were like so enthused over this album.
hmm Um, I remember one of the songs was like a whole like uh conversation, and it was Ethan Hawke from Reality Bites. He's talking about what was it with the what was it? Talk about his father and stuff.
And the pink seashell and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, that one. Yeah, like it was like a weird choice to do that, but I think it was like kind of like
A
sending a message.
good choice. There were two of them like that. One is called The Pink Seashell featuring Ethan Hawke. The
hmm
other one was called Baby Annihilation.
That was a weird title.
That one was weird too. Wasn't there like there was like one that was like a quarter pounder with cheese?
I think that was in the Pink Seashell one.
I love that part. A quarter pounder with cheese. It's like, oh shit, now you're getting us hungry. Now we gotta stop the album. Go to
Go get
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Yeah, can I get a quarter
God
pound of
damn it.
cheese? Can I get a quarter pound of cheese? Stat.
I'm probably gonna do that now. I'm gonna go back to that album just to get to that point and stop at that part.
Just pulls up to the drive-thru. It's like, yeah, welcome to McDonald's. Can I help you? It's like quarter pound with cheese. It's like,
Wait, no, no,
okay.
you just play the audio. You play the little clip from the audio. A quarter pounder with cheese.
All right, pull up.
God damn it. I never thought of that. Shit.
So, somebody do that, please. Somebody do that.
Please, somebody, before we do it.
Yeah, we probably get kicked out. Probably like, we probably just. I don't know how you would get kicked out of the drive-through, but
It's either that or the freaking cashier's a Fall Out Boy fan and you just get really lucky.
shit.
Shit.
Anyway, uh,
Well, I guess it's gonna wrap up our Fall Out Boy album ranking. We hope you enjoyed. Um, what's your favorite album, everybody? What's your favorite Fall Out Boy album? Let us know in the comments, on social media, wherever you want to get in touch with us. So I might as well just announce the next two episodes. This Sunday will be episode 15 of Shoot the Shit. Oh boy, I have a lot to talk about. I say that every time we do this freaking thing.
yeah, and I have almost very little to talk about because like nothing goes on in my daily life.
Shit. Mine
Yeah,
don't either, but
it's like but it's like, see, like you always say that, but then there's always something that I bring up to the table, and I talk about it for like a few minutes and stuff. But then it's like, for the rest of the majority of the episode, it's all like what you have to, like what you've experienced like the last, month
month, yeah.
and all that shit, and it's like like we always say on the shoot the shit things, like we've cried on this show, we've talked about shit about people on this
We've
show.
vented, we've laughed, we've made jokes. We've been really
Like,
excited.
yeah, but it's like I think like I gotta come up with topics for myself because it's like I have almost very little to zero topics to talk about.
Well,
I,
we
I
could talk
do.
about Christmas because Christmas just went by. We could
Yeah,
talk
but
about New Year's because we had a good New Year's together with our pals.
yeah, that's
So
true.
y'all will catch that this Sunday, the 14th. And then a week from today, we're gonna wrap up our Fall Out Boy stuff once and for all. For now, of course, because we're gonna be doing
For now.
random ranking with them and ranking the album. Well, not ranking, but like breaking down each album. We're gonna do that eventually too. But we are going to be doing our top 10 Fall Out Boy songs list revisited because, like I'd mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we did do an episode of this already about almost 2 years ago. So Daisha's going to go and do the honors and revisit that episode and write down our list so we can compare and contrast. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it is gonna be interesting.
So that'll be a week from today, next Thursday. You guys won't want to miss it. And Dystro, you have the song for tonight. So what's your choice?
All right, so we recently had just started our Simple Plan pilgrimage.
Yes.
Off to a hot start. Off to a hot start. Um, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Perfect for this one.
Ooh, okay. Bass song. Literally one of Simple Plan's biggest songs of all time,
Yeah,
if not their biggest song of all time, next to I'm Just a Kid. Um,
in the
so
desert.
isn't this from the album we're doing next, or is this from the album we just did?
The album that we just did.
Really? Okay.
No
Here's
pets, no helmets, just balls.
the thing is with that, like I get this album and then I get like the one we're doing next. I get them mixed up for some reason because they're so close together.
It's like the one that we just did. It was the freshman year album.
Yeah.
it's, it's like, and there's so many more to go. But yeah, I've always had a deep personal connection with Perfect because it's like the video alone like just tells you the whole story, and it's like
Right.
nobody's perfect, but at the end of the day, it's like you gotta say like I am perfect in my own way. So
Yeah.
there you go.
So, Perfect by Simple Plan. That is tonight's song of the night. If you guys want to hear that, there will be a link at the top right hand corner of this episode at the very end. There is a music video, so I will put the music video for you guys if you guys want to check it out. I love Simple Plan, and I'm really glad we're doing this pilgrimage together because I've been
Yep.
wanting to do their stuff for, oh God, almost 3 years now. So, it's time.
It's time. uh,
Anyways, if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Be sure to go on ahead and follow us on social media by clicking on the link in the description below, which will take you to Linktree. We have Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter. So go on ahead and follow us on there to keep up to date with the show, as well as our community page on the YouTube channel. You go to our channel and click on the community tab. It should be in the center of that bar. You click on that, um all of our updates will be posted there as well in case something happens. One of us can't upload, one of us can't be a part of the show. It's happened. It has happened. So it's very important you keep up to date with us to keep in the loop. Also, Dystro's YouTube channel is there as well, and he uploads weekly gaming content. And what are we trying to do? Get you to like 1,200?
1200 by the middle of February.
Well, let's get him there, please and thank you. Because February is coming quickly already, which is crazy to say. Also, my dad just got done work, so we're gonna have to wrap this up. So go ahead and subscribe to Dystro, please, and thank you. Once again, take a listen to tonight's song of the night, Perfect, by Simple Plan. And that's it. Thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you guys this Sunday for Shoot the Shit. Peace.
Peace.